Hello folks and welcome. Linux Mint 21.3 has been officially released. Cinnamon Mate XFCE. Today's video is going to be filmed in 1920 by 1080. It certainly looks very nice in 4K. However, I'm going to spare you the smaller icons. You are watching this on Linux for Seniors. If you'd like to subscribe, the icon will be there in the corner. 300 videos and growing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the new version of Linux Mint 21.3. I'll also talk a little bit about upgrades. If you wanted to do the upgrade from 21.2 to 21.3. And I'll talk about the new features and give you a couple of tips along the way. So I'll start off with the website. You can click the Mint 21.3 from here. You can also download it from here. So you can click that from here and it gets you to the same page. I wanted to let you see that 21.2 has an Edge version and this one currently does not. When you download it fresh, it will be a 5.15 series kernel. And if everything works on your machine, stay with it. But I will show you where the 6 dot something kernel. You have a 6.2 and a 6.5, similar to the Edge version for newer hardware. Okay, so download it in this section if you like. It is a 3 GB download. The requirements are for bare minimum stuff. X amount of RAM, I have plenty, but more importantly, 4 gigs is recommended. 100 gig drives are recommended, disk space in other words, and something better than 1024 by 768. Okay, if you are upgrading, in the last couple of days, you've probably seen a lot of updates. You went through and you updated everything. Today is Saturday the 13th. You should go to your edit and find that little symbol in here that says upgrade to 21.3. While I'm still in here, view Linux kernels. The Linux kernel that ships with the standard version, if you download it fresh, is 5.15. 5.19 is obsolete. 6.2 is available and I'm currently using it. You can install it, in other words. You can go as high as 6.5 and install that. Okay, if the 5.15 is working for you, great. I wouldn't mess with it. Just wanted to let you know where they are. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the installation procedure. You downloaded the ISO. It's roughly 3 gigabytes. It does support the BIOS, EFI, and Secure Boot. It has a couple of tools also installed. Before you install it, there's gparted for repartitioning your drive. There's a boot repair and also time shift. Time shift is also a very good idea to activate during your installation process if you haven't done so already. Time shift is found on the installation media, so you can do a system restore instead of installing everything from scratch. Please remember that. I've heard these nightmare stories too many times. Somebody kicks themselves in the you-know-what because they forgot all about that tool and they had to reinstall all of their applications. Always a good idea to check those things. Now, let me talk a little bit about what's new. So, Hypnotics Player, custom channel, and a lot of improvements under the hood. The Cinnamon version 6 has 4 different types of spices. You're looking at one of them right now. This is called a desklet. These are applets, and there's more. I think there's a little bit more in the applets list that was available from the previous version. There's also extensions, and you're looking at one of them. This is a semi-through panel bar, and that's extensions, and that's the name of it. You can get it from downloads. This is also new. This is called Actions, and it's basically a summary of a lot of little things that interacts with your system. You also have a download section also. Okay. The display scaling, you can have your display clicked here or right-clicking on your panel and open that up here. I'll open it from here. You can see that I'm filming in 1920 by 1080 with 100 or 200% scaling. If I flip this over to 4K, I have 4 sections now. Your graphic card and monitor may be slightly different. If you want to boot into the Wayland environment, you do that from the login screen. All you got to do is look for this logo right here. I'll show you what it looks like. Looks like that one right there on your login screen. Okay. I'll come back to some of these other tips. You have new artwork now. Backgrounds, in other words. The folder is called Virginia. And I'll just give you some of the examples. I'm using one of them. This one is Corsica, the one that's running in the background. This one here is from Iceland, my home country. That's a puffin. And a couple of other. This one's for Bulgaria, Slovenia. Lots of beautiful, beautiful backgrounds or wallpapers. Just to give you some examples. Okay. So I'm going to continue using that. You can certainly bring in your own photos too and use them as wallpaper. And you can change back to the old original black and white ones if you don't want to tolerate the photos, as one would say. And don't forget about the play backgrounds as a slideshow. That tool is still available. It's a wonderful tool in my book. It just starts cycling through the images or whatever folder you left this in. It doesn't matter. It'll just keep cycling through these, including your own photos. Okay, I'll switch back. I'll turn this back off. Turn this one back on. All right, so I talked about the Linux kernel being here if you decide to go do that. Okay, again, you have some options to think about. And then I'll just talk about the general features at this point. All right, first of all, you can resize this box to your heart's content. It's pretty versatile. If you don't like the size of the icons, maybe they're too small for you, right-click on this one, hit configure, and then change these numbers. I just recommend screenshot tools when you do this though. That would be an SC in here. The tool is available to you in 3 modes. Okay. If you don't like the black and white icon, you can certainly pick other colors in here if you like. Okay. And the cinnamon icon again. During your login screen. Okay. So anyways, you can also put text in here if you want to put text. The super key, if you got one of those, or start key or Windows key, opens up the menu. All right, so don't forget, you can resize the icons. You can also do that to the menu. Here's a quick tip for placing icons over here and down on the panel. I don't recommend dragging them onto the desktop. If you do, you'll get a remnants like this. What you want to do is right-click and do that. How do you get rid of this? Because you're going to find this funny. When I open up my file manager, you can still see that blue box. It's okay. Right-click on your panel bar. I'm going to reset Cinnamon while I'm still filming, and I'm not going to edit this video. The blue box is now gone. Let me continue. So these are your menus. I'm just going to quickly go through them. I'm going to make this as tall as possible so you can see all the goodies in here. Just to let you see what's in the menu. Okay, and I have lots of videos on web apps. If you are wondering what that tool does, it makes web-based icons. You don't need any coding skills. I'll show you exactly what to do if you watch one of my videos. LibreOffice is 7.3. Calendar, go full screen. And more importantly, you have online accounts you can tie into your Google Calendar. And if you do, this will populate the events in here. Okay, and you can also manually plug those in if you like. Where did I leave off? Calendar. Sound and video, I added simple screen and VOC. Rhythm box, if you put in songs in your music folder, it'll auto-populate in here. There's that Hypnotics TV player, the one that they upgraded. And admin tools, this one uses tar for backups. I also have regular videos on all kinds of different backup solutions for you. Using tar, using rsync, that kind of stuff. Software Manager, Synaptic, and Terminal are 3 ways to install software. I'll start with Synaptic, but just remember you can use Terminal to install software. I'm going to give you a package count. 77,813 currently, as of today's date, January 13th. 2293 I have installed because I installed a couple of things. And the software from here is coming from Mint and Ubuntu. This does not contain Flatpak software. Flatpak software is only in Software Manager. So that means you've got more than 77,000 packages that can be installed. Software Manager can be found this way also. The name of this is Mint Install, and this is version 829. Very simple to use. Point and click. You can have a nice search feature. GIMP is like Photoshop, very similar to it. If you see the screenshot in a foreign language, don't worry about it. As soon as you install it, if it's English, it'll install the English packs. You may have a little post-it note at the bottom there after you install it. This is available in the Linux Mint system package or Flatpak. Different screenshots actually. Flathub.org is actually a website you can visit. That's where they get this from. It's self-contained. This version is 2.10.36 and that one is 2.10.30. So the other one is slightly newer. And this also has lots of, well, add-ons or whatever tools you want to call that. Anyways, I can go full screen on this thing too if you like. And there's lots of categories. I mean a whole bunch. Close that. And we are at this stage of software, synaptic, software sources. Don't forget about time shift. And then I'll open up system settings. Backgrounds. You can right click on your desktop also. Effects, don't like them, turn them off. Fonts, don't like the size, change them. Themes and advanced settings. The combination of this, and this are lots of different outcomes. In other words, I recommend screenshots when just before you change these. You can also add more of your themes. There'll be a whole bunch of them blown in here when you do this for the first time. There's a whole bunch of themes in here. I'm sure you can find a thing or two. In here, I have a feature turned on that's normally off. Example of that would be I'll open up and let you see the scroll bar here. And then I'll turn this on and slide this to about 19. Now take a look at the size of the scroll bar. If you like these kind of things, activate this one here and put that about 19. You noticed I'm not even near the maximum. And 19 is usually plenty good. Accessibility. This feature is normally off. What does that do? If I press the caps lock key or numeric, it lights up a picture. Otherwise, this is default, FYI. Mugshot, you can certainly pick stock ones too if you like. Actions is brand new for 21.3. You have lots of options in here, and you can also check out the download section. It's got a whole bunch of toys. So basically, when we're talking spices, we're talking desklets, applets. Desklets are like this calendar thing. This is a non-interactive calendar. It's just meant for display. And then you have applets, which are all the toys down here, and there are quite a few. I think there are over 200. You can also click that if you don't want to click that. Extensions, I'm using transparent panels. Example of a fully one. There's an example right there. And one with semi. And let you see what it is without the tool. You just get this panel bar that looks like that. Okay. General. This is your standard power button. Again, there's no timer on it. It's just waiting for you to click. If you activate this tool, and you plug in the time frame you want. And now this will have a 45-second timer and counting down. I don't need to do anything. I can walk away from the computer. It'll automatically shut down in 40 seconds. Or you can hit restart or force it. I want to hit cancel before that terminates. Just a couple of tips. I'm not going to be able to get through everything today, folks. Gestures. I believe most of them are meant for touchscreens. So I'm going to turn that off because I don't have a touchscreen. Hot corners I don't really use, but that just means something will activate when I'm in the corners. You can experiment with that. Input method for different languages. Then the actual languages themselves. Language support, 23 languages are installed. Notifications. Online accounts, again, it's generally meant for this calendar, not this one. If you bring in one of those accounts. Panel bar can be edited here. Right click on the panel, it can also be edited here. It's the same dialog box. Preferred applications, if you're making changes. If you don't like the video player and then install something different, celluloid is normally your only one, unless you install something else. Privacy, it's generally meant for the recent files. If you turn that off, it'll be missing. Won't be there, okay? Very simple tool. Make this a little bit larger for you. The screensaver tool is just set for time for black. So if you are wondering, can I turn it off? Yes. This screensaver interacts with your power manager. These two kind of play together. Startup apps, I don't recommend doing anything with unless you know what you're doing. The Windows, right buttons are over here, left buttons are over here, and then you have the GNOME and the Classic. So this is default. I'm going to skip over behavior and go over to here. If you're curious about, well, actually I'll talk about this for a second. Do you see when this thing triggers, it's very sensitive? Make it less sensitive. Now it has a huge area that I can pull out. So it gives that surface area a lot wider area to trigger. You may want to try that. All right, so what does this thing do? Well, I'm going to open up something. I'll find calculator and I'll throw it down here for a second. So I will use Alt and Tab to perform this action. And this is a timeline effect. And this will be cover flow. This is my favorite, actually. All I'm doing is cycling through what's open. You can actually see the recording times ticking. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Then I'm going to reverse. Window tiling, you're going to laugh when you see this one because I'm going to be brutal about it. So this is active. I'll open up the file manager and I'm going to bounce it off the left wall to go full. And I'm going to create another one, Control N, and bounce it off the other wall. Now I got two windows open. Got downloads on this side and the file manager on this side. While I'm in here, hold down the control key, scroll back and forth if you want to resize. If not, drag that. Right click on any ISO. There's a new toy called Verify. You probably are going to laugh when you see this because I'm going to turn and do this and it'll identify what that is. It says Manjaro and it's calculating the SHA right now. And there's the SHA number. It's a new feature. Also, make bootable USB stick. Going back on this screen, I'm going to pull that down and close it. And go full screen here. Resizing icons on the fly. Same feature in the previous file manager. And I rehash a lot of this stuff because I never know when I have a new viewer or a new subscriber. Spacebar to get a preview of that. There's only one button with the X, you don't have to use it. Spacebar to close. Spacebar to open, spacebar to close. Spacebar to open, spacebar to close. Double click, and this opens this up in a different tool. This is X Viewer. If I needed to zoom in and out, I hold down my Alt key and scroll back and forth. Alt key, not Control. So the Control key and scrolling with my computer mouse changes the size of the thumbnails. When you're inside of this tool, it's the Alt key and scroll with your computer mouse. All right, just wanted to be clear on that one. You can set any of these as wallpaper. It'll be direct. So if I pull that down and right click and set it as wallpaper, it's immediate. I'll change that back. You can see how fast you can work with this stuff. You've got generally your file system here, trash can is here, and home folder is here. So really you don't need any icons on your desktop. In case you do want them, right click, customize, desktop settings, and you can activate those. Okay, turn them off. These bars are meant for the icons themselves. Depending on the vertical or horizontal position, you use these little drag bar to separate one or more icons. And don't forget the sizes are from dinky to jumbo here. What else did I want to make mention of? Talked about the file manager. Again, there's more bells and whistles, but I'm just touching on the highlights. And I think I covered most of the settings. Actually not. I think I stopped somewhere in the tiling area. Bluetooth, if you got them. I don't really use the color calibrator. This is GNOME Disk Utility. Again, you can change your screen resolution here or here. Graphics tablet, I don't have. Keyboard shortcuts, I have lots of videos for you to watch in case you want to do that. Mouse and touchpad, that's the size of your pointer and speed and some other options, but the actual pointer is changed in here. And these are the ones that are installed. Mouse cursors or mouse pointers are only installed in 2 locations on all Linux systems. And you can find that one of my videos will state that. Moving back downstairs. Network, I'm going to skip over. Again, power management and screensaver kind of play together. If you have printers that are auto-discovered, they'll be sitting here. If not, use the add key for USB based. I have a recent upload. If you're wanting to change this to your own music on startup, that's all up to you, but this is the standard. If you don't like that, Linux Mint has some extra ones for you in here in OGA and OGG formats. My video also explains how to take regular songs and convert them into OGGs. System information. My system is a little overkill, but I just wanted to point out the fact that this is 21.3, Cinnamon version 6, and I'm using a 6.2 series kernel instead of the 5.15. I'm also using an NVIDIA graphics card because there's NVIDIA settings. And more importantly, if you do have an NVIDIA graphics card and you are using the open source drivers, normally how it boots up, you can convert that into the proprietary driver. It doesn't cost you anything. You just hit apply, and when it reboots, it installs NVIDIA settings. If you need to make changes in here, by the way, normally it does not save properly. It has a restriction on it. You can open up terminal and type in sudo NVIDIA settings, and you can change your settings there, or you can watch my video on how to manually give yourselves the rights to save files here, so you don't have to go through terminal in the future. You may want to take a peek at that video. Software sources, I think I made mention already. What are they? Mint and Ubuntu for your Synaptic Package Manager. And in the software manager, it's not only Mint Ubuntu, but it also has Flatpak software from flathub.org. You can add users in here. And I recommend, if you are adding users for children, that you leave them with the standard user so they can't add and remove programs and make serious alterations to your system. There is a new feature in the login window, which I'm going to make mention of now, that is not available in 21.2. You can put your login alignment screen in the center or the right side. The default in the previous version was left, and this was not here. I have mine currently set to center. You don't need to do anything. You click that and just close the box. And now it'll be, as soon as you log in, it'll be on the center of your screen. The default is normally on the left. Then you can put it in the center or the right. Okay. Firewall is GovW and it comes turned off. If you decide to use Warpinator, please import some firewall rules if you activate the firewall. Otherwise, your file sharing doesn't work too well. Other than that, folks, I think I'm going to call it good. I will be doing some videos in the future for this new distribution. Thank you for watching.